Gene Gallen here with the Chatham Journal with Mr. Greg Stafford, one of the folks behind the SoCo project. And look, I'm standing up here on top of a building that Mr. Greg has added to his collection of buildings for the SoCo project. And it's been a few months since we last talked, but you bought this building back when?
July 1st.
July 1st. And we're out here today to kind of update folks, because if you're driving around the circle, you see the DOT project, but you can't see the DOT project without seeing the SoCo project. So what we're back at here is talking about the vision. And we're on a rooftop, and it's not a very pretty rooftop, but let's talk about the vision.
Vision seems too intellectual for me. I got a plan.
Oh, okay.
The plan right now is that this rooftop that we're standing on will become a rooftop bar. And right behind me is the elevator shaft. Back in the day, you had to have a built-up building on top of the shaft for all the pulleys and whatnot that held it.
Right.
Now it's all hydraulic from below. So what we'll be able to do is, using the same elevator, we'll be able to bring the elevator up to the rooftop bar that'll be sitting up here. And we think it's got the coolest view in all of Pittsburgh.
All right.
And it's pretty cool. One of the things we are doing, if you turn around and look over here, Duke Power has graciously agreed to disappear the power pole, so this you're looking at will go away.
So this big monstrosity that's standing out here is, I mean, are they taking that one down over there?
That's where they'll feed from.
Oh, okay.
They're going to disappear that and move everything down to the one that's west of here.
Right, so then I will have a lot better view without looking at the Duke. Man, I could get a great panoramic up here. That's a great vision, and for some people, they might just call it a plan.
Yeah. And then if you come down this way...
Oh, wait, before we go on, are you planning to keep that elevator, or is that coming down?
That's not decided. If we're allowed to maintain the same elevator car that's got the old style grate, you pull in front and then close another door,
right,
we will. There's kind of a discussion going on right now whether code will allow us to maintain the old one. If we're allowed, we will. If we're not allowed, obviously we will not.
All right. Well, then the question is, if you're not allowed to keep the elevator, I'm not going to tell people how we got up here because that's a secret.
Yeah.
But how will people be able to get up here? What's your plan for folks having access to this place?
We are actually putting a staircase that comes up here. And I don't think that there's an issue of whether we'll be allowed an elevator.
Okay.
The issue is whether we'll be allowed to keep the car for the elevator. And that car was the first elevator in all of Chatham County. It was put in 1949, and there's a number of newspaper stories about how it's Chatham County's first elevator. We're moving ahead in the world.
So that elevator is over 70 years old. And what did they use it to was it an actual passenger elevator?
Yes.
Or was it...
If you get in the elevator, it's huge. And this was a hospital. And so people would go and they could bring gurneys in and out with people on them, bring them to their rooms.
Oh, okay. And that first elevator, that's pretty neat. All right, so we're up here on the rooftop. We get all this stuff cleaned up. We get that Dish Turbo HD contraption out of here.
All this will be gone.
All this will be gone. It'll clean up nice.
Right. And then if you look, and we look south, you can see the roof of the mod and the other side bar and the old roadhouse. And then if you look at the steel work directly south, that's where the old Republican Party headquarters was. And we are going to, that's going to be a 2-story bar. It's going to have a rooftop bar with all outdoor seating and restaurant space, brewery space, distillery space. We still don't have a tenant. I had one I really wanted, but then they pulled out. So anyway.
And we have videos of that. You folks, we'll list it on the bottom of this video where you can go see the destruction of that, because that was interesting.
Yes.
How that thing just flattened out. Now, you're saying you're going to have a rooftop bar on that. Now, doesn't that roof look a little bit slanted?
Well, that's actually the half of it. What you can't see because of where the mod restaurant is the front half of that patio, and the front half is the rooftop.
Okay.
And then that's a cover for the dining as well.
Gotcha. Because I would be concerned, just personally, if I was drinking it up on that top roof, because...
Drink less.
Well, there you go. I could do that, but...
And then if we go down here and you look down, we're also going to create rooftop space on the lower level of the old hospital as well.
All right. And what are you planning to put down? When you say create rooftop space?
We have to put a whole new roofing system in.
Okay.
And the roofing system is one that allows you to essentially turn it all into a patio. Then the water drains through the roof, enters into drains there, and then goes out to the street. And there's going to be rooftop here, rooftop there that people have access to for dining or whatever they want to do.
All right.
And there'll be stairs to both, but the goal is to have elevators to both.
Okay, that's neat. But right now, I'm again kind of heavy set guy. Am I safe to be standing up here?
Well,
I noticed
I'm a little more heavy set than you.
I noticed you don't want to stand too close. The two of us don't want to stand in the same spot. But
the roof actually is quite strong. When they built this roof, what you have is steel girder work, and then they put screen on top of it, and then it's concrete.
Oh, okay.
And then on top of the concrete, they put tar. But it's killing my soul to allow this to sit as it is, because the roof does leak.
Right.
But we can't replace the roof because we've got to get the engineering done to find out how much structural support we need in order to put a roof that people can stand on. And I just think that this view is too cool not to be able to stand on it.
Well, now let me ask you this about the new two-story building going in there. I knew at one time you were thinking about keeping the old Republican headquarters building, but then for numerous reasons you had to knock it down.
Yeah.
You're not hoping to do that here, are you?
Oh, I'm keeping this building.
Okay.
We're keeping this building. Half the people in Chatham were born here. If we tried to tear it down, the riots would be out of control. And the minute people found out we had bought it, we started getting phone calls that you can't tear that down. And it's cool. One day we'll go inside. It's really cool.
That could be a theme for a restaurant bar right there. Serve up drinks through a syringe.
Well, what we're thinking is the county morgue was here.
All right. Oh my gosh.
And so we call it the morgue, and because you're overlooking where the morgue was.
All right. Yeah, you can get formaldehyde up here.
And also, I'm going to do a shout out. If you look down here, you can see the new Methodist Church sanctuary. I cannot tell you how helpful they have been to this project.
In what ways?
Well, they had every ability to become difficult with moving equipment in and out, with moving fences, with stuff like that. And Andy Miles and Pastor Sarah have been remarkably helpful, and I thank them for that. Yeah,
that's good. They're being right neighborly.
Yes, they are.
Now, you've been talking about views. One of the views you get up here, you'll get a view from that other restaurant rooftop, but you'll be able to look right over the courthouse. And I know I mentioned it to you. You need to get a permit so that on opening night or maybe on New Year's Eve, you can get a permit to shoot fireworks over that courthouse, and people will love the pictures that you get from those.
Oh yeah.
So, you know, that might be a platform somebody who's running for mayor to think about.
Or we invite Sheriff Roberson and then fire him off and pretend like he said okay. We could do that too.
We could, but I think there's a whole legal rigmarole you have to go through to get stuff like that approved. But, and again, this wasn't one of the first buildings you had. I mean, you had thought about this, but you weren't able to get the building right away. And
right.
But
if we had owned the building earlier, it would have been part of the project. But we were only able to buy it on July 1st. And so it's going to kind of be a phase two. The engineering will take 6 months to a year.
All right.
And then the building will come out, you know, the interior demolition and all that stuff will happen after that.
All right. Talking about that, you're talking about 6 months for this building. When we talked several months ago, you were talking about hopefully getting this whole SoCo project that we're looking over completed by the end of the year. How are we looking on that?
January.
Yeah.
If we're lucky, maybe February.
All right. But the stuff that the DOT is doing with their project on...
They're ahead of schedule.
They're ahead of schedule, so that's good. That's not going to hold you up.
No. We were racing to beat them.
Okay.
Because all of our pipes had to go through all of the walls that you'll see later. Had to go through the walls before they built. We wanted them to build to us instead of us building to them. a lot of technical reasons, but the short story is we've been rushing to beat them, and they're in fact ahead of schedule.
Right, and I think they put in the pipes just last week,
Yes.
if I'm not mistaken. So
Correct.
they're done there. Is there anything else we need to talk about while we're up here? Because we're going to do an update on the rest of the SoCo project since it's been a few months since we last talked.
I'm trying to think. I don't think there's, nothing else here. And so we'll get to the ground and go from there.
All right, folks, you're seeing it before the transformation, before the vision, or before Greg's plan comes through. But it's going to be interesting. And hey, if they can work this thing out with the elevator, that's going to be a neat looking addition. All right, we're going to head on down.